Hey there, good people. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 7. For today's video, I thought it would be really fun to give you all a peek into my iPhone and talk about some of the apps that I use the most often and how I've set up my phone to help me, stay productive, have some balance, try not to be addicted to social media. We'll see how well that's going. Okay, so let's start with just the overall home screen setup that I'm working with. If you are an iPhone user, you know that with iOS, I guess it was 14 or 13, we got these like new home screen features and everyone lost their minds over them and we're doing all these fun fancy things with their home screens. Mine is not super fancy, but it is functional and it does work for me. On the first home screen, you see I have a little picture. The whole theme of my phone is pretty much like neutrals and coffee / Paris aesthetic. First screen, we have this little, in the top left hand corner, we have this little like day of the week thing, and behind it is a photo of some coffee, lots of neutral tones, and then next to that I have the weather. I like never know what the weather is going to be ever, so having that is helpful even though we're not really spending much time outside these days. And then under that I have a little mini calendar, which is helpful for a quick like at a glance, what day is it, what day is tomorrow, what week is it. And then under that are my 4 most used apps during the day. I have Twitter, Instagram, obviously, the podcast app, and then the Gmail app because as you can see I always have some emails to get through. So that's my first home screen. The second little picture is just a picture of some neutral books on a bookshelf. I just love neutrals. Like, not that you can tell right now, but I do really love neutrals. The second screen on my phone is, again, super basic. I didn't go crazy fancy like some of the other people who have these very beautiful aesthetic home screens. I have another cute little picture. It's just a coffee with some lavender and a book, which is like very me. Next, I have all of my apps broken into folders. So the camera, just so that it's easy to get to my camera from a home screen. I have a photo and video app with all of like the photo, video, social things that I use for my content and for work. Again, social media, some work stuff, like very basic here. My reading folder, so these are the apps that I use to do any reading. BLB is actually a Bible commentary app, which is super helpful if you need like other translations or explanations to parts of the Bible. I found that helpful. And then, it's pretty like standard. Listening is all of my books, Spotify, that good stuff. Travel, Google Maps, Airbnb, all the food delivery services because who wants to be washing dishes and cooking these days? Shopping, because are we not online shopping more in quarantine? Finance is just like PayPal, Cash App, all that stuff. You get it. So pretty basic there. And then I also have the word unveil in the middle. That was my word of the year. So every year I pick a word that I want to be like my guiding principle, guiding word for the entire year, and unveil was 2020's word. And then the last really like setup home screen, I have in the corner 4 little links. Those are just links to all of my platforms. So my book club page, my merch site from when I had merch live. I don't currently have merch live. My YouTube channel and my blog, my logo. In the middle it says read, written, shared. That's like the tagline that you'll see on my website as well. Then you have the color palette of my brand colors, and then that little illustration of me that I just can't get enough of that Sheena made for me. I think it was almost 2 years ago at this point that I use in my non-Vlogmas video intro, and it's in a bunch of other like branded materials that I've made, so I have it there. It's just like my brand page, I guess. So that was a little homepage tour, but now I want to get into the apps that I use the most frequently. Number 1 most used app is most likely Scribd. Scribd is, I don't even know how to describe them because it's so many things. I use it mostly for audio and ebooks, but they also have like PDFs and podcasts and magazines, and you can view all that. But it's a really affordable subscription. It's about $9 a month and you get unlimited access to everything in their platform. So I have a ton of audiobooks saved that I want to listen to. It recommends books based on what you've listened to and read. I'm the kind of person where I like to listen to an audiobook that I'm also reading physically. So when I'm not actually reading the book, if I'm cleaning or walking down the street or whatever, I know that I can go back in the physical copy and mark exactly where I left off on audio. On Scribd, they have table of contents, so you can skip chapters, you can mark your page, you can bookmark, and that is really helpful for me because I'm always going back and forth between copies and I never have to just figure out like what chapter was I on, where did I leave off, even if I leave off in the middle of a chapter. If you are looking for a really good audio book ebook app, I highly recommend Scribd. I did just do a sponsored post with them on Instagram, but this content is not sponsored. All right, my second most used app is definitely Insight Timer. In 2020, I really tried to make meditation more of an intentional habit of mine, and I'm getting there slowly but surely. But Insight Timer is super helpful. So they have tons and tons of guided meditations on everything from like stress to anxiety, self-esteem, mornings, and they're all different time ranges. So you can do a 5-minute meditation or a 3-minute meditation or a 10-minute meditation based on your skill level, your comfort. I feel like my sweet spot is between like 5 and 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I really struggle with staying focused, but I really love Insight Timer. They have some amazing people who've created content for their platform, and I just have really enjoyed meditating with them. So if you're looking to also build a meditation habit, then definitely check out Insight Timer. There are paid options in it, but I've only used the free version, and I think you get a lot for the free version, so give it a try. Okay, my third most used app, and this is me just putting them in a quick order. This is not the actual like ranking of how often I use them, but the Rain app has been a lifesaver for me for literally like years now. So it just has a bunch of different sounds on it, like white noise sounds, and they've added so much to their library in the past couple of years. But if you need some kind of background noise to fall asleep, you need to get Rain. I really love Rain for the ability you have to mix things. So if you can look on my screen, I have the original rain sound mixed with thunderstorm. I also really love rain on a tin roof, and you can just add in a bunch of different things. They have like crackling fireplaces or traffic, airliners, like whatever white noise soothes you enough to be able to fall asleep and get a good night's sleep. It's probably on this app. So this has been literally putting me to sleep for years now, and I could not live without it. So in the vein of helping me get to sleep, I use the Calm app often. Anyway, I use the Calm app, but I really only use one feature on the app. I do have the free version, and that is the sleep stories. Like, these sleep stories will put you to bed. I actually listen to the same story over and over and over, and that's because it's narrated by Stephen Fry, who also narrated the Harry Potter audiobook. So if you were a fan of those audiobooks, because you liked his soothing voice, let him put you to sleep too. This story is called Blue Gold. It's about lavender, like a lavender farm in France. I have never heard the end of this story because I'm always knocked out by like minute 8. So if you need something other than white noise to help you fall asleep, definitely check out the Calm app for their sleep stories. Next up is an app I use to help me stay focused during the day and get work done, and that is Focus Keeper. So if you've watched any of my productivity vlogs, then you probably know that I like to use the Pomodoro method a lot, which basically breaks up your workday into different sprints. So you'll work for 25 minutes, break for 5, work 25, break 5, so on, so on, so on. So Focus Keeper has a great timer that helps you track your Pomodoro. So it'll tell you how many sessions you've gone through, how many cycles. It has a timer so that you can kind of like set it, put your phone to the side, focus on your work, and then get back to work. And then know that this will go off without you having to like set an alarm or set a reminder yourself. Just hit play, and then it does the rest of the work for you. So I really like using this app when I have like a long day of just tasks to get through, and I need to be cognizant of how I'm managing and using my time. You can also change the time of each Pomodoro block. So if you know that you have to work on something that's going to take you an hour and 45 minutes to do, and you just need to break that into like 30-minute sprints instead of 25, or 10-minute instead of 25, you can edit that. 25 is just kind of like the Pomodoro default, but it's a simple app. I like it a lot. It's not really fancy. There are some really fancy Pomodoro trackers, but I just need like the basics. Other than social media apps, those are pretty much my top 4 most used apps on my phone. I literally use those almost every day to help me maintain balance and get work done. But that's kind of like a look into what my phone is like. I think you can tell a lot about a person based on what apps they use the most and how their phone is organized. So tell me how you have your own home screens organized, what apps that you're using the most. Let me get some insight into how you guys are working and living. If you want a tutorial on how to move your home screen around or even take it up a notch and do the fancier stuff, I will link to some of the videos that helped me learn the tips and tricks and the apps you have to use to kind of get those like images and the photos and all that good stuff. I know it's like, does it really matter? It's just your home screen, but I think it does help to have a different setup and flow that works for the way that you work and help you to stay organized and know where all your stuff is, because I'm always like downloading a new app to like edit a photo and then getting rid of it, but then I know my core stuff is where it needs to be. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, share with a friend, and I will see you all tomorrow.